In this video, I would like to take the time to share and talk about the one most important thing, right? The single most important thing that you absolutely have to have, which is ultimately going to determine whether or not you're successful when it comes to selling digital products online, or whether it's doing affiliate marketing, or, if you're selling digital products as a product owner yourself, or if you drop shipping, whatever kind of online business or anything that you're trying to do in life, as a matter of fact, right? This is going to be the thing that is ultimately going to have the biggest, have the biggest impact on the outcome, right? As to whether or not you're going to be successful. All right. Now, if you're joining me for the first time, my name is Christian. Welcome to my channel. I am Christian M, a place where I decided to document my attempted journey to financial independence. And by financial independence, we're just simply referring to getting to the point where we're generating enough in passive income to cover our living expenses. So if that kind of stuff is of interest to you, please do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you're notified every single time I release a new video. Now, when it comes to, becoming financially independent, one of the vehicles that I have decided to use to help me get there, which is, build my base to become financial independence, is online business, right? And more specifically, selling digital products, whether it's as an affiliate or a product owner, however you choose to do it. That's fine. But like for me, up until this point, the most money I've ever made online selling digital products has been as an affiliate, right? I have been selling digital products and physical products, but the majority of it has been from digital products, right? And that can range from courses, primarily courses, right? Guides, PDFs, right? And in several different niches as well, right? But if you would like to get started if you're interested in getting started with affiliate marketing, selling digital products, I would highly encourage you to check out the first link in the description below this video. It will give you 100% free access to the most simple, done for you, affiliate marketing system that just about anybody can get started with, right? And it will show you how to get going doing I could say arguably the most important thing there is when it comes to building an online business, and that is building your own email list. Okay, so check out that first link in the description below this video. It will have it's a done for you system which will enable you to build your own email list and start doing teach you how to do affiliate marketing for 100% free. This is going to be primarily in the wealth niche, right? Like when it comes to online education, teaching people how to make money online, but the principles are the same and you can use them and apply them to any niche pretty much. Okay, so check that out. And when I say it's 100% free, I'm not talking about one of these deals where it's like a 7-day free trial or 14-day free trial, and then if you like it, you got to pay after that. No, you can stay free for as long as you want to and make money, right, as a free member. Okay, of course there are going to be options to upgrade, giving you access to additional training and ways to make even more money if you want to. That's completely optional, right? But if money has been one of those things that is a little bit of a stretch for you, this is the ideal program for you to get started and get started making some money. Okay, once you start making some money, you can start looking into following your passions and doing all the different things in different niches that you want to go after. But if you need to start making money, first link in the description below this video is a great way to start for free, okay, without having to pay, at least in that way. If things don't work out at the end of the day, the only thing is your time that you've lost, right? But if you're dedicated and you pay attention and you really implement, take the time to put in the work, there you have every reason to succeed. Okay, now when it comes to whether or not you're going to be successful selling digital products online, whether it's as a product owner or an affiliate, or like I said, doing any kind of thing in this world, right, that you actually want to do, the single one most important thing that you're going to absolutely have to have is the right mindset. Okay, and before you click off of this video, right, just because you feel like you've heard it before, I need you to really stick around and let me just give you some practical examples of how really important this stuff is. Okay, how it's far too often, right? Far too often. In fact, this tends to be the typical journey for a lot of people that decide to get started with selling digital products online, right? Like, some major event might have happened in their lives, right? Like during, back in 2020 when people were getting laid off, right? During that time, right? And people were coming online, and the searches for how to make money online started to spike, right? If you go look at Google Trends and all that type of stuff, right? Because people were stuck at home with no way to make money, right? Because they couldn't go to their jobs and all that type of stuff, right? And that tends to be the typical case, right? Or someone, they just need to make more money, if they've lost their job, whatever the case may be, right? And they'll come online and they will see you'll see a lot of stuff, right? But one of the very popular means of getting started making money online, especially because the barrier to entry is extremely low, is affiliate marketing, right? And selling digital products online, whether it's through affiliate marketing or monetizing your own knowledge and creating your own products, right? That tends to be one of the things that is extremely popular, and for good reason, because people are making a lot of money with it, right? But a lot of times people coming from the real world, knowing what they are used to and accustomed to and the kind of salaries that they have, right? 30, 40, 50, 60, 70K a year, typical, right? And then you come online and you start seeing some crazy numbers, and people making what the average person makes in a year, they're making it in a month or in a week, some kind of crazy stuff, like nonsense like that, right? And I can't blame people for thinking that a lot of this stuff is a scam, right? Especially the way certain people or certain marketers may promote this stuff, right? Not necessarily the right way to go about doing it, right? It basically gives the entire, it tends to give the industry the wrong image, right? And so people see that, and then they are inclined to feel like it's just all a scam, it's not real. And then when they do decide to approach it for themselves, they're approaching with the mentality of only wanting to dip their toes in the water instead of diving in, knowing that this is something that actually works, right? You have to be fully committed, right? If you have like a mindset where this stuff is not real, it's probably not gonna work for you, that's the kind of effort you're putting in, that's probably the kind of result that you're gonna have, right? The kind of result that you're most likely gonna end up with, right? I believe it was Henry Ford. Is this whole idea, Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right, right? It's all about your mindset, right? If you don't see yourself being able to be successful doing this stuff, then that's most likely going to be your reality. Even Napoleon Hill has similar idea, right? I think his was, what the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve, right? So you really have to you have to buy into this stuff, right? And your biggest thing, right, when getting started with this, just find people who have successfully done this stuff, right? And find people who are where you want to be, right? And follow in their footsteps, right? Success leaves clues behind, right? And here is just a practical example of how powerful mindset can be, right? You might have heard, you probably know the story of like the 4-minute mile, right? This is a real thing. I believe this was back in 1954, May 6th of 1954. In fact, prior to May 6th of 1954, it was widely believed by scientists and physicians and all the brightest minds, right, that it was physiologically impossible for a human being to run a mile in under 4 minutes, right? It's just not possible, okay? And for the longest time, people have been trying. Nobody was able to do it. And it just seemed like this thing that just was not possible until the 6th of May, 1954. A gentleman by the name of Roger Bannister, right? I believe he was some kind of athlete, medical student. I think it was a medical student, athlete, or whatever the case might have been. 25 at the time. He ran that thing in just under 4 minutes, right? It was like 3 minutes, 59 seconds and something, right? But it was under 4 minutes. And that alone paved the way for multiple people after that to come and start breaking that record, right? But what was the key difference, right? These people who came after, and eventually, like, multiple people, all of a sudden, like, it just took that one person to do it, and then people's mindset changed, and people knew that this thing is possible. And then all of a sudden you have multiple people, right? Like he did in 1954, and then I think the very next year 3 people came and did it, or 5. I don't know what the number is, but every year there's just more and more and more people. Did human beings all of a sudden just develop superhuman, overnight superhuman abilities? It was up here. That's what it was. It just took one person doing this thing one time, and people's mindset, they all of a sudden, they having that mindset, knowing that, oh, I can do this. This can be done, right? It can be done. Okay. And that alone, that's just how powerful the mind is. Chances are, right? I don't know this for a fact, but chances are that had Roger Bannister not broken that, that 4-minute mile barrier, right, back in 1954, the number of people who came right after him doing it, chances are they would not have been successful, because they would have had the mindset of the fact that it's just not possible. Okay. So you have to approach this whole digital marketing thing in the same way, like making money online, whatever aspirations or dreams you have to approach them the same way. Okay. And this goes with just about anything in life. I see it, especially like, okay, for instance, I was big, like soccer is, football, I'm real soccer. I always laugh because here in America, every time you say football, the first thing that comes to people's minds is American football, right? Everywhere else we talk about football, and that's what people refer to as soccer over here, right? But anyway, you can see, I mean, like, you can be one of those people, right? You could have been one of those people. Like, I remember when I was younger, like, being one of these people, like, I was like, usually one of the better soccer players around, right? And whether it was with my classmates, whatever the case may be, right? And I remember being younger and people telling me that, man, you're so good. Like, why don't you pursue soccer professionally? And why don't you go after, like, why don't you want to become a pro soccer player? You're so good. You have all the talent and all that, right? It did not matter how many people told me that, right? It really did not matter how many people were telling that. If I, for one, myself, did not believe that I could do it, and that was the problem I had. I didn't think I was good enough to, like, all I was looking at was like, the competition is too much. The chances of me making it are going to be slim to none, which, I mean, the chances of becoming, like, it's not, the odds are not favorable, right, for anybody trying to do that, right? But that's the thing. It didn't matter how many people told me that, right? As long as I didn't believe it, it was just something that was just not going to be in the cards, right? But by the time I got to the point where I started believing or realizing, when I got to a point that I realized that, wow, like, maybe I could, right? By the time I realized it was too late, okay? It was just too late, right? When I got to the point that I could realize, when I got to the point that I realized that, oh, maybe I just might have the talent, or just might have what it takes to become a professional soccer player, right? And when by the time I got to the point that, okay, maybe if we're just keeping it real, it was age-wise and all that, it was too late, right? To start trying to do all of that, could it have still been possible? Maybe, yeah, but that's the thing, and that's what I'm trying to say. Like, which is why, like, now when I see people who are, younger, like who, even if I don't necessarily have, when I see younger talents, right, even if I don't necessarily believe that they can, just the simple fact that they believe it, and they have the basic talent, they have enough talent to become, like, I see that they are much more likely to succeed as, in becoming professional soccer players than I ever was, right? Because they have the mindset of, oh, I can do this, I'm gonna do this, right? That type thing, right? So the same applies to, like when it comes to selling digital products, affiliate marketing, and all that type of stuff. If you believe you can, right? If you believe you can you need to have the right mindset. And this, like I said, this goes across the board with whatever you're trying to do in life. It doesn't apply to just, selling digital products online. But that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people this is something that they want, and I want this for you. It really, really is something that's real. Okay. You just have to set, put skepticism aside, right? Just put disbelief aside for just a few months, okay? And give this your all, give it an honest effort, and you'll be surprised at what can happen. All right. Anyway, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions about anything I've talked about, put them in the comment section below. I will be sure to respond. And like I mentioned, if you want the simplest done for you affiliate marketing system and program that will help you get going, making money online, I would highly encourage you to check out that first link in the description below this video. Sign up for a 100% free account, get the free training, and get started trying to make some money. Okay? Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Ciao.